The Dungeon Master is no stranger to improvisation, and Saltmarsh makes it actually pretty easy to do so. In this episode of the Saltmarsh vlog, I'm going to recant the tale of pretty much doing the exact same thing again, but different. So, my players arrived back into Saltmarsh, and they went to their favorite shops and whatnot. The sorcerer went to go visit the leather worker that they're becoming a fan of, and the rest of the party went to go do some research. But in the end, they told Gellin Primewater the truth, which, I'm going to level with you, I didn't actually think they would, but a couple party members want to be honest, and that was enough for a couple other party members to concede and tell the truth. As a result, Gellin only paid them 60 gold for their efforts, but they offered to him to go and try again, this time actually slaying the Sahagin Baron, to which Gellin Primewater offered them, in lieu of pay, so instead of giving them 60 gold, he will give them 3 caps of water breathing, which, while considered an uncommon item in the book, it's weird because the way Saltmarsh is presented is that there's a bunch of magic around, but there's no magical person in town save for the one wizard that I haven't really found a way to introduce the players to yet, but maybe they will eventually. In fact, maybe I should do that the next time they're in Saltmarsh. Regardless, they asked Gellin Primewater, hey, if you had these to begin with, why didn't you give them to us before the mission? To which he responded, and me as the DM responded, because you guys presented yourselves as people that could already handle this. You didn't need any extra help. And they were all like, yeah, that's true. We did kind of. They did kind of brag a little about being able to handle the situation, and they're conditioned based on me as their DM. They're used to me bringing the fight to them rather than them having to go underwater and fight the Sahagin. They were kind of expecting the Sahagin to come onto the boat and fight them there. But a smart creature wouldn't do that. So they immediately set out to sea. They had to wait 2 days for the boat to repair, so they just talked to some NPCs, and they actually met another member of the council, whose name is escaping me right now. Give me one moment. I'm actually going to look it up. Here we go. Eleander Fireborn. Eleander is a captain of the guard for Saltmarsh. As the guy in charge of the guards for Saltmarsh, he is a cautious individual and will put the needs of the crown before the needs of Saltmarsh itself. However, the first member of the party he met was actually the Tabaxi monk of the party, so immediately he's met with a strange individual from a distant land, and of course the rumors have spread around of this group now that there is a cat, a fairy, a demon, a elf, and a human, and a dragonborn all hanging out together, so naturally he's curious about one member of the party in particular, a fairy. Why would a fairy leave the Feywild and come to the salty, smelly city of Saltmarsh? The reason for his worry is because he is aware of the hag that is to the east of Saltmarsh, living in the Dreadwood. So, while he's not exactly aware that it's a hag exactly, he's aware that something weird, something fey is going on over there, so he's kind of worried that the fairy in the party might actually be a spy. However, the actions of the party, I'm hoping, will eventually quell his fears. Anyways, they end up setting out to sea, and I told them, okay, so we're just going to fast forward 3 days, and we'll get, right to where the Sahagin are, to which a couple members of the group were like, aww. They all started getting sad, because as a DM, one thing I do for travel is I have my players roll a d20. When they roll a d20, depending on the number that they roll, I make something happen. Usually I give it like a DC of its own. If I want something to happen, I'll start the DC around 5. So if they roll like... I start the DC at 5 when I want things to not happen. Because if they roll lower than 5, then, something will happen like a combat or a monster or something will attack them or a storm, and then I'll raise it every single day they travel so that eventually something is guaranteed to happen. Then, when something does happen, I reset the count so that something doesn't happen again the immediate next day. Day 1 they rolled a 1, day 2 they rolled a 2. Day 3 was a 19, but that day didn't even happen in this session. So day 1, I'm thinking, okay, they rolled a 1, I gotta give them something spectacular, something terrifying, something really interesting, and that's when I find a page in the Saltmarsh book for arcane storms. You roll a d8, and a random school of arcane magic causes this storm to have a special effect. So, I rolled necromancy, and we got to fight a whole bunch of zombies, a specter, a couple ghouls. Not enough to really terrify them, but enough to make them worry, because they're on a relatively small boat. The second storm was abjuration. And according to the book, you roll 5 d20s, and that's how many miles off course they get poofed. So now they are 85 miles away from Saltmarsh, which, according to the little hexes on that map, means they are not even on the map anymore. However, the captain is aware of where the Hool marshes are and takes advantage of figuring out, how to get back on course, so they don't got to worry about that. But the druid decides he wants to hop off as a shark and go look around down below. So I roll a random Azure Sea encounter just to see what happens, and I get Bronze Dragon. And I thought, At first I didn't want to throw a dragon at them because, my players think I'm obsessed with dragons. Don't know what gave them that indication. But as a result, I decided that the bronze dragon would mistake the shark for lunch, give it a bite, he'd poof back into elven form, and that's when the conversation began. However, the elf expressed interest in the dragon's hoard, and he's kind of being secretive about where it is. I mean, he built a big undercity castle kind of thing, so he's not being secret, but he's being secretive. Like, don't go in there, but also I want it to look cool. This could prove to be a powerful ally to them later on, but for now, he just wants them to go away. And he even gives a scroll to the sorcerer in the party in order to cast a spell on the captain. The party has no clue about sea charts and currents and how to move a ship, but the captain does. And the dragon wants him to forget. So the dragon tells the sorcerer, cast this spell on the captain when you are 2 days away from this. The thing is, the spell scroll has modify memory in it, which means the rest of the party will still remember the general location. Now, the dragon also threatened, hey, if you don't cast this on the captain, I will know. He actually has no way of knowing. He's just kind of gambling that the party will believe him on that. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Honestly, between the fighting and the searching and the arcane storm of teleportation, that's pretty much all that happened in this session. So, backtracking. We're doing a lot of it right now. I'm hoping eventually we'll get to the actual main plot. I think when they come back, now that they've met 2 council members, once they get back to Saltmarsh this time, they'll get their reward, and then they will be told by Galen himself, stay in town for 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. This will give them time to do downtime activities and learn a new skill or something, or at least begin the process of learning a new skill. And at the end of those 4 weeks, little 1-month time skip, then they will get their first mission from the council. But if I explicitly tell them that there is a quest coming up, maybe they will not immediately leave Saltmarsh. Anyways, that's probably on me, but regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes next. They will obviously be able to handle the Sahagin better now that they are better equipped to go underwater. This doesn't stop them from having to fight underwater at half speed. So we'll see where that goes. But regardless of how it goes, thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.